Over the last 2 years, GSMA has increasingly focused on Eurasia and Central Asia. What makes the region strategically important in the global digital and AI landscape today?
I think Eurasia is really an important crossroads between the East and the West. And so I think we see sort of the innovation coming from all directions here in Eurasia. I think with the young population, with the dynamism, it's a perfect place to really look at what kind of creativity could blossom here in the region. You know, one of the clear takeaways from our mobile economy report that we launched here at M360 Eurasia is the level of contribution that mobile is making to the economy. So I think it's hugely important we continue to enable it. We saw 270 million US dollars added to GDP in the region last year. We expect that to go to 300 by 2030. So I think we need to keep doing what we can to make sure they're able to give the maximum contribution.
Do you believe developing economies are more vulnerable to AI-driven job displacement than larger advanced economies? Or do they actually have an opportunity to adapt faster?
Well, I think there's a huge opportunity in Eurasia because of the investment we've seen in infrastructure. I think also the talent that we see in the region. And I think importantly now with some of the new innovations we're seeing, for example, CAS Code, bringing large language models in Kazakh language and Uzbek language, I think there's a real possibility for innovation coming out of this region.
What kinds of jobs and skills do you believe will become most important in Eurasia over the next 5 to 10 years because of artificial intelligence and digital transformation?
I think in particular here in Uzbekistan, we've seen huge investment in terms of facilitating a startup environment. So we're going to really see people developing the sort of tech skills, the digital skills, the coding skills that will be needed to make sure that the region is positioned. Uzbekistan's positioned, but also the broader region is positioned to lead going forward.
Around the world, governments are struggling to regulate artificial intelligence without slowing innovation. What kind of regulatory approach do you think works best for emerging digital economies like Uzbekistan's?
I think it's really important that government and industry talk together about AI to make sure we're approaching it in a holistic way and that all the parties are involved in the discussion. Because I think too much regulation can obviously stifle innovation, but we also want to make sure that AI is being implemented responsibly and ethically. And that's why I think it's so important, the leadership we're seeing from the mobile operators here in the region, because they have a very close and trusted relationship with their customers. They have a long track record of protecting consumer data and privacy and safeguarding the interests of consumers. So I think the region is a real opportunity to see how when government and industry come together, we can kind of create an environment that is the right balance between safeguarding and innovation. A lot of organizations, the OECD, UNESCO, have been looking at this as well. We're working very closely with all the mobile operators to make sure that they are embedding responsible AI into the way they're operating and delivering AI services. I don't know that it's a one-size-fits-all approach, and I worry that too much legislation, too much regulation will prevent the opportunities. I think we need to sort of assess the risk in different scenarios and respond accordingly.
Many countries now discuss digital sovereignty and reducing dependence on foreign technologies. Is it realistic for countries in Eurasia to build competitive, independent digital ecosystems, or will global cooperation remain essential?
I think global cooperation is hugely important in the digital environment. That's how we have the kind of scale that we have today that allows for so many people to be connected. It was not so long ago that there was a very small number of people who were able to benefit from digital. Today, we see a vast part of the population connected to digital technologies. And that's because the technology has been built and deployed globally at a scale that allows it to be more affordable for more people.
GSMA has previously highlighted the digital usage gap across Eurasia. What are the biggest barriers still preventing millions of people from fully participating in the digital economy?
I think the usage gap is one of our biggest focuses, I think, as an industry, to make sure that everyone's reaping the benefit of connectivity. And in the region today, we have about 29% of the population that is actually covered by mobile broadband, but is not using it. And I think the biggest barriers to this are digital skills, affordability, particularly of devices, and also to some degree trust. So I think we need to work together to make sure that we're tackling all three of these components.
Do you believe Central Asia could realistically become a globally competitive technology region? Or will it remain primarily a consumer of technological development elsewhere?
Well, I mean, I think we're seeing huge investment in the region trying to be a hotbed for innovation and startups. I think it remains to be seen how far that goes, but I think we're seeing the kind of leadership in the region that makes it a distinct possibility.
If we meet again in 5 years, what would be success for Uzbekistan's digital transformation realistically?
I mean, I think firstly, I would like to see even more citizens connected. It's a huge connectivity already, but I'd like to see more people connected. But I think I'd also like to see some of the startups that we see coming out of things like IT Park, Uzbekistan, having a more global profile. I think that would be a good measure of the extent to which we can really see the leadership of the region shining through and beyond the region. Sure.
You just mentioned you want other young generation to connect more. How would you assume the government could achieve that?
I mean, I think actually the young people are the ones most interested in connectivity. So I think they have a strong interest in connecting. I think then we just need to make sure they have the skills to utilize it as best as possible, and also to make sure that there's affordable access. And I think one of those issues, of course, will make sure that we reduce taxation as much as possible to drive down the costs, particularly for younger and less advantaged communities.